Right, I'm here with Rhiannon, Holly, Simran and Antonia, just talking through the idea and for their music video. So, Rhiannon, you've got a mood board there. Would you mind talking us through what that is?
So this is our mood board. So we basically just put all ideas on one page, and then we've all put comments. So we've all put ideas and things, and whether we think we'll be able to do it or not.
Okay.
So we've chosen to do Jack Johnson's Better Together.
Okay.
And we decided we wanted to do like a couple video. We've chosen to take inspiration from Love It, actually, so we thought that'd be our intertextual link, and so we've done ideas. So we like the idea of having like an opening monologue, multiple couples, so we thought maybe couples of all ages at different stages in relationships and things like that.
Okay, so very much like some John Lewis adverts and those type of ideas. There was a real spate of that quite recently, wasn't there, with adverts showing kind of growing relationships and those type of ideas. Okay.
Because we even thought of things, so we've got ideas like bonfires down here, so we could even start from people just looking at each other like that romantic flirty look initially to couples that are married, so we had the idea of having like a first dance and things like that. And we thought about sort of realistically whether we can get all that done, and we think we can. So we want to set it all in autumn and have them doing activities.
Which is handy.
Well, that's what we wanted to do, because we didn't want to sort of go, oh yeah, we'll make it feel really like Christmassy or really summery, because we have to look at realistically what time of year we're filming and work with that.
I mean, okay, thank you for starting with this because it's all of your ideas, but can I just go back a little bit and say, obviously you started right at the beginning researching, so how have you come to this decision? What research did you do, and what did that tell you? What were your main findings?
Well, we looked at other artists similar to Jack Johnson.
However, did you know you wanted to do Jack Johnson before you'd even done any research?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
so
that's not really the way it should work, I guess, is it? Because what you should be doing is thinking, okay, I'm going to do a music video, let's have a look, what do my audience, like? What are the key genres there? Let's do some analysis. Okay, we should do that. Obviously, you had a clear vision, so did you make your research fit that?
Our research did fit it. We were really lucky because our research did fit everything that we thought, because we wanted to we wanted to do it more like a love song, because we had a few. This wasn't the song that we settled on right from the beginning. We had a list of few. So we had like Mike Dignam, Great Escape, Ed Sheeran. We had Tom.
And then you heard this song on the radio, didn't you? And you instantly, because we looked at songs. And we started like putting together what kind of ideas could you use. They were quite acoustic sounding. So
we found like a genre we all really
liked.
Okay,
good. So let's start with that. So in terms of genre, you kind of set out thinking we're probably going to do kind of quite slow acoustic song.
Yeah.
So in terms of then the next stage, audience research, who would you say your audience is for the kind of artists you were looking at and at those initial stages?
17 to
25 kind of age, and girls.
It's quite narrow as an age group, you would say.
They're more interested like in this kind of genre, like the story that we're going to tell behind our music video.
It's almost a bit of a chick flicky.
Yeah.
And because we're basing it on Love Actually, it's got that kind of romantic feel. We wanted it to be quite quirky and relatable and things.
I would agree with you that it's probably females that you're going to appeal to the most in terms of the lyrics and the mood of the song.
Yeah.
Think a little bit wide about your audience though. I would suggest that Jack Johnson as an artist isn't just selling himself through this song. This is very much just one of his songs.
This is quite different to some of his other
think
stuff.
about how you're going to market him. Is he going to be part of that video at all or not?
Yeah, we quite liked, is it Pharrell Williams, and he did his Happy music video. He had like throughout like loads of different people lip syncing it, but you still always know that he's the main artist.
Okay, so
Michael
rather
Jackson
than just
done that.
I think there's another video as well that Elton John does with Robert Downey Jr., which you might want to look at, called I Need Love. Elton John does one with Justin Timberlake as well, where he's This Train Don't Stop. In his later career, he started doing that, not appearing himself in the video, getting famous people to kind of sing the song and lip sync to the song. What I'm wary of is the idea that you are essentially still promoting an artist. So although perhaps his voice is recognisable, if you are still selling it as Jack Johnson, we don't want to assume that the audience knows that's him.
Yeah.
We might want to have him singing crucial bits as well as others lip syncing, still having those close-ups. So make sure that promotional element comes through. also think about your audience and how you are branding him as an artist. If I was to just listen to this song or watch your music video, I'd think he's really, really soppy, he just does these love songs. He's actually quite cool, laid back, and I know lots of guys that like him as an artist as well.
Yeah, because we did research into him as an artist, and he targets men and women. So we said actually it was quite good for us because we could pick a target audience because he aims to anyone. But this song specifically, when it came out, was for teenage girls, and when he does it, he said himself, we've got a quote where he says it's most relatable for girls and things like that. And
so this video is, what you might want to think about though is if this is just a song from an album and you're doing a digipack releasing an album, you'll want to widen that appeal. You'll still want kind of colours perhaps from there, but think closely about how you can do this as a whole package, that you're not just selling a love song and a song that does romantic songs, that you can still pick up on that this isn't too kind of feminised in a way that men could possibly relate to it too, and that when you do the rest of the package, are you going to do web homepage and digipack? That the homepage kind of reflects different sides of Jack Johnson, perhaps, but still has a house style and links back. That's going to be your challenge there.
Yeah, like
making those
Love
three.
Actually, the director because he said like a love film normally takes about 3 years to write, and he just wanted to put like so many and try it putting into one. And he's thought at first this could just be like females and stuff, but when I looked at a lot of the reviews, a lot of them had been like written by males saying how much they had enjoyed it, so we can see that actually,
it's the humour behind that.
So we want to include that kind of humour, and also people say how like relatable it is because it's all different stages, everyone's been through it.
I think you would definitely, I think the intertextual reference is strong, because I think that's quite a well-known song, certainly British-wise as well. I think lots of people will know that and will get those references if done well. I think it has got repeatability factor as well, because if you're going to have lots of, it's not overly complicated, I would hope, with the different couples, but by having different couples, I think what that allows you to do is there's lots to look at without being overwhelmed. So it's, there's that couple again, there's that couple again from the beginning. So it's thinking about how you would order those stories and how you're going to make people connect.
We're not
going
to have, we obviously have our cheesy couple stuff, but we also have funny ideas. So we sort of like photo booth, and we also had an idea with placards. So we wanted to have, we thought a possible idea, we don't know if we will do it, but is taking a day up to London, and we could just see if any couples that we see, just random couples, would like to take part, and we could then get them to hold up lyrics of the songs and things like that, and then we've got like, and it can be a bit funny and quirky, and it's not just, it is romantic, but it's still not too cheesy or anything.
You can get lots of material and see how that's going to work. If you know, rather than go up to London, you could just get people to pose as couples, couldn't you?
And that's what we said,
relatives.
Because we thought at first, let's focus on like one couple, but we thought actually, from sort of making it easier in terms of like editing and things like that, if we find that actually we need a bit more material, we've then got to get that one couple back, whereas we said if we just put loads in and we think we need a little bit more, we just get two people from out there to just pose as couples and just add it in.
You'll want that continuity as well with some key settings, so keep it to just 3 or 4 settings maximum, I would say, as well. Maybe if you're going to have autumn, so therefore woods to reflect that season as your main setting, you'll want every couple that you've got perhaps at one point to be in that same setting, because then there's those visual links as well.
We even said, even if it's just sort of like, we looked at like activities associated with autumn, and if you look at a lot of like autumn photography and things, it's the strength of the colours, it's like the lower lights, the natural lights. So we said like things like the bonfire and lanterns.
We said we'd do a couple of shots that are a lot more simple, so literally of lights, lanterns and things like that, and we thought that would be a really nice addition.
Passenger video, the one that we analysed.
So are you possibly going to have as your narrative throughout, or in terms of structurally, could it start in the morning waking up to night time?
Well, that's we said like what would be quite a nice finish is if we had, we're not sure if you're allowed to do the lanterns anymore. There's something about whether it's legal or not, I'm not really sure. Or particular ones you have to buy, but we thought if we get each couple to let off one of those lanterns and then sort of like film like a few of them going off, that'd be quite like a nice ending to it, like just sort of like,
we not edit it so it looks like they're all together.
We thought that'd be quite a nice, rather than, obviously we don't want to like leave it where it's kind of like a couple of loose ends, but we thought that'd just be quite a nice way to finish it
Conclude
sort
it
of thing,
all.
like at
Yeah,
night.
and you could probably do that in slow motion, couldn't you, as
Yeah.
the song fades out. So you just want to be able to now match those kind of ideas to, in terms of editing, the music as well. Don't forget that, because I think in terms of a style of song, it's quite interesting because although it's a love song, it's not overly cheesy, and it's not upbeat, but it's quite, I mean, it's kind of surfy vibe, his whole style. So
when you look at what people reviewed the song on, he grew up in Hawaii, and it says it's very much, it sounds like you're almost with him sat on the beach listening to that song. You can hear, and the sort of the simple, sort of only a couple of instruments, it's mainly the guitar, it's kind of that you can almost put yourself in that
which
place.
is why I think you don't want anything too hectic.
Yeah.
You only want, a few couples, 2-3 sets, I said 3 or 4 earlier, but maybe a few less. And think about your casting for couples and how they're going to look. I think you want to maybe have quite laid back, funky kind of couples.
Yeah, we don't want
to reflect
like
his style as an artist as well, and
we also picked up on the fact that actually the theme of the song kind of incorporates friendship, and so we said even if we don't necessarily get all couples and we get a few friends, because in the Love Actually bit, at the beginning, at the end, there's airport scenes where people are being reunited. So we really like the idea of just friendship, and the song actually isn't necessarily about love itself. It's about just being better together, and
everything's better when you're with people.
It's about love as a concept as a whole, I
It's
guess,
not about,
isn't it? Well, you've obviously analysed the lyrics really, really well. I can see them there, so you've obviously understood exactly the song itself. So I do really like your ideas, and you've thought about it a lot, which is fantastic. The only other thing you need to think about in the later stages is what your research has taught you in terms of how you would aim this and target your audience in terms of marketing, distribution and those ideas. So if you haven't done so already, maybe a bit more industry research would be quite helpful for you. And then some of those obviously that other feedback that I've given you. But have you got any questions for me or anything?
Do you want me to go and get
to talk through?
Because we've done industry research. Do you want me to go and get it? I've got it on.
No, that's absolutely fine. If I've read that research, it's just going forward. If you think there are gaps there that you might need to fill, that will possibly be as part of your planning. You can integrate that a little bit more, because it's not just about planning your main task. It's obviously the ancillaries. So as part of your planning, we're going to market it here. That will help you with your evaluation stage, as you see. So think about how you want to represent groups of people in this. What groups of people? Because again, that comes up in your evaluation. So you need to think actively about representation.
Okay.
And genre and narrative and those ideas.
We've done a presentation of what we want people to be wearing. We've done like colours that we want to include and things like that.
Great.
So we've sort of started to think about that kind of thing.
Okay, great. I say go ahead with it. I haven't got any problems with it, and I think you've thought about it really well, and you've clearly understood the style and the themes and the song itself, which is the main thing. Understanding and getting to grips with the song is going to help you envisage what that should look like and how that's going to appeal to your audience. So
Sorry, just one more thing.
That's fine.
What we've actually spoken, we haven't done any writing of it down yet, but we have spoken to people ourselves and asked them about the song and things like that, and everyone we've spoken to has had a really similar vision to us, and they've said they can envision like really cute and quirky and quite, do you know what I mean? So I think the initial sort of vision we had is matched with what other people are saying as well.
So you know that it's going to appeal to your target
we
audience.
just said to them, like, how would you picture a music video to match? Because like he doesn't actually have a music video for it. It's kind of him on tour sort of thing, which kind of makes it easier.
Obviously, it was a real promotional tool, that video. So it's all performance based clips of his concerts. So it's being done for that reason, maybe because he didn't want to go down that route as an artist of being seen as a sort of a romantic, cheesy artist, so to speak. So perhaps that's the reason for that. But you can take that song however you want to. It's just think about how you're going to reflect him as an artist in all of your products and across all 3 products, and give him a house style that still links back to that music video.
We'll keep it quite chilled, I think, really relaxed. I think he's you know, a really sort of low maintenance, down to earth guy, and I think we
and you
really
want to reflect
that
absolutely
in all our couples, all our people. We don't want anything too much. We want it to be simple, fun, you know, people to watch it and feel happy, because that's what we want, and that's why we like the idea of the monologue at the beginning and the lanterns at the end, because it just feels nice and happy, and I think people will respond to it.
And I think the only things you need to think about now going forward is when you're doing your storyboarding and your planning as well, which is going to take the longest amount of time in terms of timing, editing. You've got a strong narrative, you've got a clear kind of, in terms of mise-en-scène, you obviously have a really good idea of that. Don't forget the promotional side of him as an artist, and just don't forget that you're obviously wanting to match the music to the visuals as well, so that will be really important in that editing post-production process. So going back to Goodwin's kind of 6 ideas of codes and conventions, and just making sure you perhaps thought about those as well. The idea of the notion of looking, that's going to come across as well, so I think you're going to target all of those.
Just one last thing, we haven't mentioned our main idea.
Which was stop motion.
Stop motion. We want to do quite a lot of it in the style of stop motion.
Well, not a lot of it. Just we've tried it out a couple of times ourselves to see if it's actually like, is this going to take hours to edit? And it's taken like no time at all to be able to edit them.
Okay.
But just for like at the beginning, he just says just like a couple of things, and like we've looked at it and it's
like the postcards. It says there's no combination of words I could put on the back of postcards. So like stop motion of like the postcards, isn't it? The images.
Like words changing, then like rubbing out, then like just sort of a couple of. I
was going to say no.
Just a couple of little elements, like he says, a shoebox of photographs, a secret phone number. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a photo of each couple that we have. We'll obviously do it after we've done all the main editing, and then we're going to cut them out as like a Polaroid in a sepia, and then sort of have it like coming out of a shoebox, just small little elements
back to the actual lyrics.
Just to kind of match a little bit as well.
We've got printed out lyrics other than this, and we've put when and where we kind of want to do certain things.
What I would suggest you do is this: film it as though you would normally film it.
Okay.
Then go back and maybe do those things. For me, you either go completely that's the style you're going for with stop motion, or you don't do it at all.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, because I think it's confusing the style that you're going to go for. If we've got a really laid back vibe, but then we're going to have something that looks visually. If visually it looks a completely different style, it might be hard to know the identity of that as a video. Okay. So I'm just a bit wary. I like it as an idea, but I would want to see that as kind of either being really the kind of key concept, or maybe if not, I would just want to stick to this idea. So I would film it without that, and then maybe if you've got time up for your second draft, you have a go at this and maybe get some more feedback from focus group and say, do you like this edition? And then you can always take it back and you've got the existing footage. So experiment with that rather than go for that as your key idea for me.
And that's what we're doing at the moment. Like we've done we've only uploaded one video yet, but we just tried like small little amounts of stop motion just to see how it goes.
And we've also done small amounts of colour change and things like that, and what it will look like.
The only thing you need to think about when you do things like that is, if you've got a bit of stop motion, that's great, but how does it fit in
with the actual video,
with the rest of the video, and how you're going to do the transition so it's quite nice and smooth without feeling a bit disjointed, because it's quite flowing as a song. So that would be my only concern with that idea.
Okay.